we've been following along with what you've been doing, but you're still with MIT after all these years, right?
Yes, I am.
Wonderful. That's great.
Well,
And
thank you for following me.
yes, absolutely. Well, it's an honor to talk to you because you obviously have had a gift for years, for writing amongst other things. But when did you realize that you had that gift?
Well, I was interested in writing from a young age. I didn't consider it a gift. I just considered it something that I like to do. And and I was also interested in science from a young age. So I wrote short stories and created a home laboratory and did experiments. So I was really into both science and writing from a young age.
Well, it's interesting. The world has caught up with you a little bit now because, of course, your latest book. You talk about the science and spirituality. It seems like we're kind of coming together a little bit more on this right about right now, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
And of course, that's a fascinating subject, and people really enjoyed that book, right?
Are you talking about the transcendent brain
Yes,
or?
correct.
Yeah, yes. Yes. Well, thank you for reading it. Yeah, the transcendent brain represented a unification of several of my books and some of my ideas. Of course, I haven't come to any conclusions or solutions to anything. That I think the most profound questions we have don't have answers, but it represented a distillation of my thinking, and it's where I sort of began promoting the phrase spiritual materialism.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And of course, you probably have some really interesting discussions with, not only students, but also your readers about these kind of things, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, of course, we first came to find you with Einstein's Dreams. This copy has been with me for many, many years, and what a special time that was to put something out there in the world and realize that people do really care and love this stuff, right?
Well, thank you. That was a surprise to me, and it was a surprise to my editor that it did well. You never know when a book is going to do well unless you're somebody like John Grisham.
Yeah.
You just do your best, and your first audience is always yourself,
Hmm.
and you need to please yourself first.
Hmm.
But I'm very grateful that people like that book.
Yeah. And of course, people look up to you and then they think, see, I want to do what you do, but obviously it's very tough. Most of us don't have the brains you do or the talent. But what kind of advice do you give to those that want to either write books or follow their dreams in the academic world?
Well, I think that a lot of young people and maybe children have an interest in both science and the arts,
Mhm.
but that that dual interest is sort of drummed out of them by their teachers and parents and friends, and they get the message that you can only go in one direction or the other, but not both. But I do think that many children are excited by the natural world, and they're also excited by artistic expression. It might be drawing or painting, or it might be reciting a nursery rhyme or something. And I encourage young people to pursue both interests, of both areas of interest, I should say, because these are large areas we're talking about.
Mhm. Absolutely. And you may be familiar with my co-host Drew Pearson, one of our great Dallas Cowboys, caught the Hail Mary, went in the Hall of Fame. We're so
Yes.
proud of him, but we always love to ask people their Hail Mary moment, which is that moment in your life or career where you just had to go for it and it worked out for you. What do you suppose that was for you?
Well, it was probably a moment that was not related to my science or my writing.
Hmm.
And that is, I made my first trip to Southeast Asia
Yes.
about uh, 23 years ago, or 20 years ago, somewhere around then. And I saw an opportunity to help young women there, that was completely off my agenda. I didn't have any experience with doing anything like that, but I decided that I would go for it and try to raise money for schools and dormitories for young women in Southeast Asia. So that was my Hail Mary pass, where I was sort of stepping into outer space, throwing that long pass, not knowing where it was going to land or whether it was going to be caught by anybody.
Which of course is Harpswell, which is still going to this day, right?
Yes, it is. So
Hmm.
that's, I mean, I've been very lucky in my life to have had several different passions, uh, the science, the writing, and the work in Southeast Asia, and I just feel like I'm lucky that I've been given those opportunities.
Hmm. Well, part of that is mindset, and we talk about that on the show. Is there something that you tell yourself that kind of keeps you on the right path even when things get tough?
Let me think about that. Well, life is short, and there are a lot of the world is large, and life is short, and there are a lot of different things to explore. And I think that we should try to pursue all of our interests. We should not be afraid of taking adventures and making the Hail Mary pass. Uh, I would say that's what I go by. I mean, ethically and morally, I go by the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto yourself. Uh, but I think that being willing to take risks is very important. And the willingness to take risk in turn, I think, depends on having a certain amount of self-confidence.
Hmm.
And all of the people that I know that have succeeded in life have taken risks, and they have failed sometimes. Um, if you're not willing to take risks, then you never want to take a chance on failing, then you're never going to get out of bed in the morning. And so I think you have to be willing to fail occasionally. We learn by our failures, and I think being willing to fail now and then, and also the willingness to take risks and push ourselves out of our comfort zone is something that I would advise young people.
Yeah, absolutely. And what are you working on now? I know we haven't seen a fiction book from you in a few years, and hoping maybe something like that.
Yeah. Well, actually, I have a coffee table book coming out in November called The Miraculous from the Material.
Hmm.
And it has 35 chapters, and each chapter starts with a full-page color photograph of a beautiful and extraordinary natural phenomenon like lightning or volcanoes or spider webs or hummingbirds. And then there's an essay accompanying each photograph where I explain the science behind it.
Ah, that's beautiful.
So it sort of follows along with my idea of spiritual materialism, that we can take a scientific view of the world that is a logical, rational view, but we can also be open to and embrace the wonders of nature and be open to the magic of the world.
Yeah. It's an incredible idea. Where did that come from? Was there something that particularly inspired you for this?
Well, for this particular book, what inspired me is that one morning I was out jogging and I saw, it was early in the morning, and I was passing by a field and I saw mist rising from the ground, which we often see early in the morning. And I began wondering what causes that. And that became the impetus or the motivation for writing this whole book about amazing natural phenomena and trying to understand them scientifically, but also to embrace them as just miraculous phenomena. So I don't believe in miracles. I don't believe in the supernatural, but I do believe in the miraculous.
Hmm. Well, and it's interesting where inspiration comes from too, right? It's probably much different for you, right?
It is. I mean, it doesn't really matter where it comes from. I mean, for many of us, we're inspired by a parent or a particular teacher we had in school, or for one experience. It doesn't matter where it comes from, but what matters is that you get excited about something
Hmm.
and pursue it,
Hmm.
and are willing to take chances, willing to take risks.
Well, I know that can't be the only thing that you're working on right now. What else do you have coming up that we should know about?
Well, I'm working on a novel
Mm.
um, called "Preparing for Nothingness,"
Hmm.
and uh, it's a fictitious symposium in which there are six speakers who all talk about how to prepare for death or the afterlife from their own discipline. There's a scientist, there's a philosopher, a psychologist, a Christian theologian, a Buddhist monk, and a hospice worker.
Hmm.
And each one of them talks about how to live your life so that when you're ready to pass on, that you don't have regrets. And it sounds like a grim subject, but by putting it in the form of a novel and having developing characters, and there's some humor in it, and it's I think it's going to be an interesting read. At least it certainly interests me. I should say
Yeah.
that.
And where do you fall on that matter?
Well, I think the best way to prepare for the end is to live a good life.
Yeah.
I don't believe in an afterlife myself, although I know many people do. I don't believe in heaven or hell. I think that this life that we have now is the only one we're going to get. And uh, preparing for our end, we have to realize that life is temporary, that everything in the universe is temporary, um, that it's the natural course of things for life to come and go. And we have to accept it as a natural part of life. That the end isn't totally natural. Everything in nature passes away. Even stars eventually burn out their nuclear fuel. It's just the way of the world, and we should accept that. And while we're alive, try to live in the moment. Try to have loving relationships with other people. Try to have joy in our life. Uh, Allow ourselves to connect with things larger than ourselves, and we all have feelings like that. You don't have to call it God. You can be lying in a boat looking up at the stars at night. Uh, but I think those are the things that help us live a meaningful and happy life.
Hmm. And also what you leave behind, and of course you leave behind a lot of great work eventually. So that's got to be a great feeling as well.
Well, we all leave something behind, but
Yes.
I would argue that everything that we leave behind is going to be gone also.
Mm.
I mean, my grandchildren remember me. My great grandchildren will just see pictures of me, and even the books that I've written. After a few hundred years, probably nobody's going to read them.
Mm.
Uh, so we do all try to make the world a better place in our own way,
Hmm.
but I think that it's an illusion to think that we're going to make a big impact on the world or leave a lot behind. We try to do as well as we can.
Yeah. Well, look, does it give you hope when you see this new batch of very intelligent students coming along?
Oh, yes. I love being with young people. And one of the reasons I haven't retired is that I get hope and optimism from seeing young people. And they're going to be running the world. I think that those of us who are 50, 60, 70 years old have not done very well by them. We've messed up the climate. Uh, there are a lot of wars going on, and I'm hoping that our next generation can help heal some of the wounds and damage that we've done. Of course, we've done some good things as well.
Well, it seems like we've got a very smart generation. They're all connected, and more
Yes,
socially responsible. So we've
yes,
at least got that going for us.
yes, we do.
Ah, that's wonderful. Well, we're very excited about the coffee table book. When can we expect that one?
That's coming out in mid-November,
Perfect.
and it's called The Miraculous from the Material. Um, and I'm very appreciated, Paul, that you read some of my work, and I'd like to find out more about what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm doing the sort of the same thing. I'm on a path. I interview a lot of celebrities for a living,
Mhm.
and I just put out my first book called Going for It. And
Oh,
yeah,
congratulations.
thank you.
And tell me what that book is about.
So in within all the hundreds, well, it was 1,000 people, but then I cut it down to 300, and it's just the best parts of those, and it's their advice, what they've learned, what they do differently, and the wild stories about how they made it. It's everybody from Tom Cruise to Richard Branson to Mike Tyson to gosh, Beyonce, Garth Brooks, and it goes on and on. And it's been a whole lot of fun to put together, and just kind of just a book of knowledge, just to pass
Yeah.
along, thinking about leaving things behind myself.
Well, I like the title of it, Going for It, and
Yeah.
I'll I'll get a copy of it.
No, that's wonderful. I love that.
That sounds like, and congratulations to you for your program of interviews and also for writing the book. That's
Yeah.
very enterprising.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm trying to put some good out there in the world.
Yes, that well, it sounds like it. I think a lot of people reading that book will be inspired by some of the stories there.
hmm Yeah, well, and that's what I'm hoping, is just to get it in more schools and libraries. So if you have any thoughts on that, please let me know.